So here you'll see some of the details that I put on this water tank to be able to get up on the back, like these little steps that are made out of alambrón is like a 1/4-inch rebar, and then we're reinforcing it with lathing wire, and we'll cement it in and make it like something we can walk up in the end. But we're making this one like a big old boulder, and you can see we've got we're near the end now with our finishing details to be able to start cementing it in, which we're going to do from the inside in one layer and then come from the outside with more of a concrete mix. Okay, here we are filling the bottom now, starting with the cement coming up on the inside. So we've got a mixing situation going on out here. The guys are bringing it up and lowering it down through the top. So here I'm standing on top of an 8-foot ladder in our 10-foot tall tank, and you can see the system of rebar, chicken wire on the outside, lathing wire, and 6/6-10-10 wire. And we're now putting the first coat on the inside all the way up. Aquí estamos, it's a foggy day, and we're mixing, you know, the energy of a 14-year-old, mixing cement, and this is actually going to be the mixture for inside, which is a fine mortar mix, 4-to-1 mix of cement to sand, using a high-quality sand. And then you can see we pushed it through from the inside, so it's locking into all the different levels of wire. We have the chicken wire on the outside, and then you can see the 6/6-10-10 wire, the 6-inch square wire, and then on the inside the lathing wire, while the rebar, which is on about average of 12 inches on center, 15 inches on center, running in both directions. And so now we're applying the base, which we're using actually a concrete mix, more stone, and we're throwing in a 4 or 5 inch kind of a kick base, you know, which will buttress the tank better. And then we'll go to the finer mix, the mortar mix, pushing through from the outside, making sure to moisten the wall really well. And we also have added a kind of a concrete bonder. It's a more of a waterproofer, you know. Down here in Mexico they call it dada well. And anyway, that's our next step. And we're up about 5 feet, you know, going on to the outside now. You can see first coat. So you can see now we're putting on this mortar mix in layers and over all the wires. This is from the inside, and every amount that we put on, not in straight lines, we then connect up while it's still wet and go on to another layer, and then put a layer on before everything sets up at the end of the day. So there's at least 2 layers that are fresh in one day, and then we'll wait, cure, and coat with a concrete adhesive, and then put on another layer. So here I'm pre-wetting the wall, making sure that there's always good adhesion with the cement. So it's another layer as we're going up, and you see we have our lathing wire on the inside, and then the rebar, and then 6/6-10-10 wire, which is out here, and then beyond that is chicken wire. So 4 layers, and we're making a key with the first coat, and then while the first coat is still wet on the inside, we go from the outside the next day while it's curing and continue on the outside doing the same thing. Something you can do without major mixers, and so I'm using these kind of primitive tools, a trowel to pick up the cement, and the mixture is a 4-to-1, four parts of quality sand to 1 part of cement, Portland cement, whatever cement, and then mix to this kind of a semi-stiff batch, and then put it on as thick as possible. So you're smoothing it on, letting it key into the other wire on the back, and then getting more and going on. And there's different ways to apply it. You know, you find out the way that you're best at it. And another way that I find is real handy for most people is kind of grabbing chunks of it and putting on as much as you can and trying to keep it from slipping down. It's not quite as fast, but if you get good at it, you can put on quite a bit and it doesn't fall and you're keying it into the behind. And then later you see you put another coat on where you are. And in every coat we're putting, here in Mexico they call it Darawell. It's a form of concrete adhesive. And it makes the cement stickier and more waterproof. And it has better adhesion. One coat to the other. You try not to have rocks in this coat, but a little bit of it doesn't hurt. That's how we go. So here we are putting the final coat of waterproofing. It's something I used to use a lot in construction, similar a cementitious mix that's slightly rubberized. It's got some kind of it gets kind of sticky and it's more waterproof, and you just keep finishing it until it gets kind of smooth. Put on 2 coats, and it comes under different names. Ferro-Seal in the States, sometimes United States, and here in Mexico it's a Cemenquin waterproof plastic kind of finish. So we're using it for waterproofing. It's not that expensive. It's pretty expensive. It's here in Mexico, $35 a bag for 15 kilos, 15 kilo sack. And I think we're going to use 10 of those to do the full waterproofing of this tank that's close to 5,000 gallons. Okay, folks that have watched us through this project, we're getting to the end. And thanks for coming. It's a beautiful day today in early November in Baja California, and where we are just south of Ensenada. And this is the time of year that the clouds form and we open up our views, because the fog is no longer happening for the summer month that happens in the summer month. I love this time of year. I love it this time of year. Here down below is Rancho Bosque Encantado, and this whole area is going to be served by this water tank that we've been showing you, and it's Ferro-Cement over the months. And we would have finished it, but we had so many other projects to do that we kind of put it off over a series of months. But we're on the final stages now, which is really the part where we make it more decorative, because it's really going to appear like a big rock. And we added in a couple of buttresses here on the sides, which when we finish off, you see the big boulders, we'll have boulders up against, and this whole thing will look more like a big old boulder. You know, we're going to finish it off a little bit like that with this exterior plaster. So this is actually a stucco coat that we're putting on. You could do it with regular cement too, and a little bit of color in it. And we're using these boxed colors that you can get in, I'm sure, different countries. And I got 2 different types, and it's like a cement coloring agent, cementitious base of some sort too, or powder that mixes with cement well, because stucco is a type of cement mixture as well. So what we're doing, this is kind of the last coat on the outside, although we'll probably do some kind of a sealer coat as well, and then we'll seal the inside. And we've made it like a big old boulder. I don't know if you can see around the corner here without tripping, my friend, but we have, well, on the back side, some places where we can walk up on it and get to the top. And then the top we have up there is you know, a metal top that opens up, and we actually made a place where you can sit up there to watch the view. Okay, so here we have our boulder Ferro-Cement tank all finished. And just a little comment about the mechanical. We have a big drain that's set right at the bottom, so when we clean out the tank, we can get all the drain, you know, clean it all the way out. This is the water to our ranch, and this is the fill tank. This fills from the pump that we have way down below. And that's really, there's not much more mechanical to this thing than the simple filling and emptying and cleaning out. So I hope that helps. And we did some color here and there to try and make it look more like a big boulder from a distance, so you be the judge of that. And we do have a place to sit on top and it is strong. And for those of you who are wondering, it's probably about 3 inches thick, maybe 4 at the most, as it's got, as you noticed, 3 or 4 different layers of plaster and cement and concrete against all the wire and rebar and everything that we showed you earlier. So I hope that's enough to give you an idea about how to build one of these yourself. Thank you for participating and listening to this video.